Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. First of all, let me introduce you to our team members. So, the first one is Nur Saira Dania binti Syaiful Razilan with number matric F01756. Next, Nur Azrina binti Jalius with number matric F01742. Next, we have Atira binti Muhammad Norman with number matric F01748. And the last one, we have Siti Balkis binti Ahmad Sanusi with number matric F01932. Our survey is about participation and attitude towards sports. We get this data analysis from the survey among students in Centre of Foundation, University Utara Malaysia. Sports is a human activity involving physical effort and skill as the major focus of the activity, with aspect of competition or social involvement, where the activity's rule and pattern of behavior are formally governed by organization and is generally recognized as a sport. Sports require not only physical strength, but also mental strength to devise winning strategies. Sports are commonly practiced in school and universities to ensure that everyone may be active outside of their studies. Sports can also provide a source of income. Boys are more likely to enjoy football, while girls are more likely to enjoy netball. There are also a lot of variety of sport in which we can participate from the physical strength. We also need mental strength games such as chess and scrabble games is the two example of sport that simply need the use of the intellect. In a survey, we get to know about the participation and attitude towards sports among the students in Foundation Studies in Management of University Utara Malaysia. This survey can help us to identify how many students enjoy sports and how doing sports can give benefit to them in their life. Not only that, we also can know what is the students' perception about sports. The objective of this survey is to collect and identify the respondents' background. Next is to investigate does sports have beneficial for students. Next, to examine the competitiveness among students in sport. And the last one is to evaluate the statement of limitation about sport from the student.
Next, I'm going to talk about respondent profile analysis by variable. This was a pie chart about students gender in center of the Foundation, University Utara Malaysia. As it reported, the survey is about participation towards sport among the students in center of Foundation. As we can see from the pie chart, female students have the highest frequency, which is 141 people, while male student has only 30 people. By this, female students are the most who answer the survey and lead to 82% of the population, while the male students were only 80% of the population. By looking at the bar graph, we can see 171 students have answered the survey about their state of origin. Based on the bar graph, show that most of the students are from Kedah, which means 24.56% of the students are from Kedah. On the other hand, the least state of origin are from Sabah, which is only one student, represent 0.58% of the student. Beside that, the second highest number of the students are from Selangor, with 22 students, represent 12.86% of the student. There are also four students came from East Malaysia, leading to 2.34% population of the student. Based on the bar chart above, we can conclude that majority of the students were living in the urban city rather than rural hometown. This can be seen that students who live in urban were 103 students, while rural hometown was only 68 students. Other than that, most of the students who live in urban and rural have a family income below 3,000, representing 25 students from urban and 28 students from rural. On the other hand, the second major student family income was above 10,000. It can be seen that 24 students from urban and 30 students from rural. So, we can conclude that many students in Center Foundation are from T20 faction. Next, the least student family income is between 5,000 until 7,000 for both urban and rural hometown, which form only 12 students from urban and 7 students from rural hometown. From the pie chart, it was a survey that has been answered by students. We can see that most of the student race are Malay, represent 151 students, and this can be concluded that Malay students are the most of the population, while Chinese students are only 2 total, represent only 9% of the population, while Indian students are only 2%. On the other hand, other races only have 3 students, forming 2% of the population. Bar chart above show that the highest program that students want to apply to is the School of Accounting, which is 70 people from the population choose this program. The second highest program was School of Business, represented by 38 students. Next, the third highest chosen program is the School of Law, which was selected by 34 students in Center Foundation University. Next, pie chart above shows that 133 students have participated in sport at their previous school, represent 78% of the population, while the other 38 students have not participated in sport, forming 22% of the population. We can conclude that most of the students in Centre of Foundation, Universiti Utara Malaysia, have participated in sport before they enter university. Other information that we get from the survey is a pie chart shows that most of the students did not currently participate in any sport, which is 127 students represent 74% of the students, while on the other hand, only 44 students answered yes in the survey, which is 26% of the population. We can conclude that majority of the students are not active in sport lately. The last part is a bar chart show preferred sport among the students in Centre of Foundation. It revealed that most of the students in Foundation answered no in their survey about their preferred sport among the students. This shows that most of the students are not active in sport, but the highest answered yes in their survey was badminton, which is 67 students. On the other hand, the second most preferred sport is netball, presenting 41 students, and the least preferred sport is golf, answered no by 164 students, while tennis was the second least preferred sport by 159 students. Also, badminton is a sport that most of the students sometimes prefer, answered by 71 students.
By looking at figure 3.2.1, we can see that mean of scores that students answered in the survey are more than 4.5, which means students in Centre of Foundation Universiti Utara Malaysia agree that sports bring benefits to their life. Other than that, we can conclude that male students find more enjoyable in sport than female students. Next, standard deviation of females and males are respectively 1.13848 and 1.02535. It means standard deviation for male is higher than female. This indicates that the data are more spread out. For figure 3.2.2, we can conclude that the mean score for urban and rural are more than 4, and it shows that the students are being competitive among each other in sports. We can easily know that the mean score of the competitiveness of the students, which are 4.2185 for urban and 4.4596 for rural. Other than that, the standard deviation for urban is 1.2376 and the standard deviation for the rural is 1.2366. Thus, we can see that the highest value of mean score is rural, while urban has the highest standard deviation. By looking at figure 3.2.3, it shows the level of agreement that has been answered by students in the Centre of Foundation Universiti Utara Malaysia. The survey was focusing more on the limitation that has been felt by the students. The outcomes have shown that the mean of the students who disagree and agree about the limitation in sport, which represent by 1.6632 and 1.8182 in figure 3. The major of the students disagree about the limitation in sports because Universiti Utara Malaysia has provided a lot of facilities for students to enjoy sports.
In proportion to the respondent profile analysis regarding the participation towards sports among the students in Centre of Foundation, female students have the highest frequency than male students. Based on the survey of the students' race, we believe most of the students are Malay and the least of the students are Indian. On the other hand, for the analysis related to the topic, we figured out that students in Centre of Foundation Universiti Utara Malaysia agreed that sport will benefit to their life. We also get to know that male students find more enjoyment in sport than female students, since male standard deviation is higher than female, which indicates that the data are more spread out. We also found out that urban and rural students are being competitive with each other in sports. It has been proved when the mean score is more than 4. Regarding the level of agreement that has been answered by students in Centre of Foundation, which more focusing on limitation that has been felt by the students. The survey shows that the majority of students disagree about the state limitation of the sport, since the Universiti Utara Malaysia has provided a lot of facilities for students to enjoy sports. In conclusion, by referring to the task given, we understood that everybody has a different view on their own perspective. We realized that it is important to implement the survey to make sure that the decisions we make are fair and square to all students. Finally, we have come to the main point where we believe sport is the best way to distract the negative energy and make our life become less stressed.